Today, we are diving into a tool that is quite literally changing the math for modern law firms. We're talking about Aperture, made by SaveYa Tech, and we're going to look at exactly how it takes those lost, agonizing hours of evidence review and transforms them back into reclaimed billable time. Look, if you work in a criminal defense or personal injury firm, you know exactly what kind of headache we are about to unpack. So let's just get right into it. I want you to really, genuinely think about this for a second. How many unbillable hours did your firm burn scrubbing body cam footage this month? Just picture it. Think about the paralegals or, even the attorneys, sitting there scrubbing through endless video clips at 1x speed, legal pad in hand, absolutely terrified to blink. It's a grueling, exhausting, completely mind-numbing reality of the job. And the worst part, it is actively draining your firm's resources. All right, Section 1, the unbillable evidence problem. 47. The high-stakes reality of modern defense and injury cases is that the sheer volume of video evidence is staggering. A totally routine traffic stop can produce an hour of footage, and somebody has to watch every single second of it. Why? Well, because of minute 47. You are constantly living with this underlying anxiety of missing a single admission, or maybe a tiny contradiction, buried exactly 47 minutes into a tape. The pressure of missing that one little detail is immense, because frankly, that detail could be the linchpin of the entire case. Because this right here is where cases are won or lost. The whole matter can turn on a dime based on any of these factors. You've got the exact timing of Miranda rights. What did the client say before Miranda was even read? Was probable cause actually established by the officer on the scene, or was it just kind of conveniently built after the fact? At what exact moment does the story in the police report stop matching the story on the video? Look, if you miss any of this, the opportunity is just gone. So to be safe, your staff has to sit there and watch every single minute, and that means you're burning hours you absolutely cannot bill, and you can never get back. So let's talk about the solution. Section 2, how Aperture works. Think of Aperture not as some clunky software, but as your ultimate, tirelessly fast assistant. It's super simple. You literally just drag a video or audio file into the desktop app and it just goes to work. First, it transcribes the entire file, word for word, stamping the time on every single line. Second, it cleanly separates the speakers so you actually know who is talking. Third, it reads through that transcript like a highly trained legal reviewer, actively analyzing it for legal relevance. And finally, it outputs a fast read review document. So a massive recording that used to eat up an entire afternoon, it gets completely processed in the background while your team is out working on other billable tasks. Which brings us to Section 3, a clickable case document. Now, what's really interesting about this is the highly structured output Aperture actually hands back to you. It's an incredible time saver. You get a plain English summary, giving you a quick start-to-finish overview of the event. You get relevant moments, time-stamped not just to the minute, but to the exact second. You get a speaker breakdown, putting the officer and the client statements right side by side for easy comparison. It instantly highlights flagged inconsistencies where the footage doesn't quite line up with the narrative. And honestly, my absolute favorite feature, the question box. You can literally ask the footage a question in plain English, like, hey, when did the client first ask for a lawyer? And Aperture points you right to that exact moment. These features take an hour of grueling watching and condense it into just a few minutes of targeted reading. And here is the real aha moment. The finding and the footage are wired together. Aperture actually has a built-in synced video player. So when you're reading through the document and you spot, say, possible inconsistency at 32 minutes and 14 seconds, you don't have to go digging. You just click it. Instantly, the video snaps to that exact second and starts playing. No more scrubbing back and forth forever trying to find the part you just read about. It's totally seamless. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where Aperture earns its keep and reclaims those billable hours for your firm. Suddenly, suppression motions become incredibly fast because you find the Miranda timing with the exact timestamp ready to cite. Prepping for impeachment and cross-examination, you just line up what the officer wrote directly against what the flagged footage shows. It allows for immediate case triage. You know in minutes if new evidence is actually worth spending an afternoon on. And hey, it's not just for criminal defense. It is absolutely perfect for injury and civil scene footage or just making any long recorded statement totally searchable. Now, I know what some of you are probably thinking. Can I really trust an AI with this? Well, the cool thing is, Aperture refuses to guess. If it isn't completely sure, or if it can't cleanly tell speakers apart because they're talking over each other, it tells you. It explicitly flags those uncertainties directly on the page. And again, everything is always traceable right back to the timestamp. The machine is just doing the heavy lifting of the first pass, but it always points directly back to the tape for your final human judgment.
Moving right along to Section 4, keeping your evidence local.
Okay, we need to cackle the elephant in the room. This is the big objection that rightfully kills most legal tech for risk-averse attorneys. Where does the evidence actually go? Because when you're dealing with highly sensitive client information, you simply cannot be uploading gigabytes of private body cam footage to some random cloud server you don't control. It's a massive risk. Well, Aperture solves that completely by running locally on your own machine, and you actually get to choose how it runs, file by file. In local and private mode, everything runs entirely on your computer. Nothing is uploaded, nothing is sent anywhere. The evidence physically never leaves your office, period. Alternatively, if you want the absolute sharpest text analysis, you can opt for higher quality mode. But even then, the video file stays completely local on your machine. Only the written text transcript is sent over a protected connection, and there's absolutely no training on your data. Either way, you keep total uncompromised control over sensitive client evidence.
And finally, Section 5, built for your firm.
Let's zoom out for just a second here. Look, most tools out there on the market are generic AI. They're built for everyone, which means they're rigid, and you usually have to change how your firm operates just to fit their software. SaveYa Tech Custom software is the exact opposite. Aperture wasn't dreamed up in a vacuum. It was built hand in hand with practicing criminal defense lawyers and paralegals, testing it against real cases. The tool bends to fit you. SaveYa Tech solves your firm's specific bottlenecks instead of forcing you into a bunch of frustrating, out-of-the-box compromises.
Which really brings us to this powerful, summarizing quote. Built to keep the evidence where it belongs and to give your people their hours back. That right there is Aperture's ultimate value proposition. And honestly, it's the entire ethos of SaveYa Tech. It is all about empowering your practice by stripping away the agonizing manual work that just drains your profitability. So, I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative question. Aperture solves the footage review problem beautifully. But looking at your own daily grind, what is your firm's biggest bottleneck? What's that one specific task that is just eating up all of your unbillable hours? Because when software is built completely custom for you, that bottleneck doesn't have to exist anymore. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this helps you start reclaiming your day.